Welcome back to Mission in Motion, the official podcast of the Central Conference. I am your host, Superintendent Danny Martinez. Today we're excited to bring you a behind-the-scenes look at the heart of our operations, someone who keeps everything moving smoothly here in the Central Conference. Please welcome our guest, as promised, Patty Sheppard, our conference manager, and quite honestly, the one who knows how everything works. Hi, Patty. Thank you for being here.
Well, first, I'm glad to be here with you today to talk about the work we carry out in the Central Conference.
Well, let's start by talking a bit about your role. What does being the manager of the Central Conference look like to you?
Well, day to day, every day looks a little bit different, and every season also changes the focus of the work we do day to day. I spend time communicating with conference staff, addressing their questions, and providing support in the important work they carry out in the Central Conference. I'm also communicating regularly with covenant ministers and church contacts via email or on the phone, providing needed information and resources. And I'm always glad to communicate with people of the Central Conference.
You know, people often say that you're the go-to person for just about everything. What are some of the key areas you oversee?
So my role involves supporting the work of the Central Conference in several areas. First, I provide administrative support to the Central Conference staff in the areas of finance, administration, communications, and the general operations of the conference. Secondly, I connect with the ministers and church leaders of our conference when they're seeking information and resources, getting them connected with the right people and the right resources. And I also manage and coordinate the logistics for Celebration, our conference annual meeting.
Yeah, Celebration. That's a big one. Patty, I often describe you as someone who is efficient and has a pastoral heart. And there are people that are very nice people, but they don't get things done. And there are people that get things done and get people upset at the process. You happen to be both. Where did you learn that? Where does that come from?
Well, I have quite a bit of experience serving in the Central Conference and in the Evangelical Covenant Church. First of all, I am a pastor's kid. So I grew up in a house with two pastors.
Luis and Flor Retamal from Grace Covenant, yes.
And then I also had the privilege of serving over at Covenant offices for about 15 years. And then I also have served at the local church, at Edgebrook Covenant Church, and now I have the opportunity to serve here at the Central Conference.
People may want to know how you got connected to the Central Conference. You remember that fateful meeting you and I had 8 years ago at Ling Lee? It's not Ling Lee's, it was Mima's, which not is closed, unfortunately. What do you remember about that?
Well, first of all, we have known each other for a long time.
Childhood friends, yes.
Childhood friends. And at the time, I was serving over at a local covenant church. And I recall seeing the position posted about the Central Conference manager position. And I thought that was a great opportunity for someone else. At the time, I was serving in a place that I was very happy. And at our meeting, you mentioned that you would like to have me apply for the position. And it came as a surprise because I thought that it would be a situation where I might be able to maybe suggest someone, but not myself. And when you offered the position, I remember telling you, I want to pray about this.
Yes.
And seek God's leading in this.
You made me suffer for a few weeks, yes.
And I did feel God leading me to serve in the Central Conference, even though I was in a very comfortable place at that time, serving at the local church.
Well, just so you know, Patty, many people have said to me over the years that the best decision I've ever made was to get you on board. And yes, you and I were both childhood friends from the Latino Covenant churches here in the north side of Chicago. And we used to go out in our youth groups and stuff. So that's a really wonderful connection. Okay, so let's not talk about an exciting coming event that you mentioned, Celebration 2025. that's happening May 1st through May 3rd in Libertyville Covenant Church. Can you tell us what celebration is all about for those who may be new to the conference?
Sure. So Celebration is the name of the event that brings Covenanters from the Central Conference together to fellowship, learn, and worship together, and of course, to address the business of the Central Conference. This year, we're gathering in Libertyville, Illinois, and our theme is Moving Mission Forward Together. We've invited speakers and workshop leaders who will focus on the theme, and we're really excited about all they will be sharing with us.
What can people expect this year in terms of programming and community connection? We always talk about the conference being, the conference wanting to be connected, wanting you to participate, and wanting you to contribute. What can people expect this year?
So the ministers of our conference, they gather first on May 1st for continuing education, and then on May 2nd for their annual meeting. The church delegates, they gather May 2nd for learning opportunities through a variety of workshops, and then on May 3rd for the conference annual meeting. As you know, the annual meeting of the Central Conference is the highest constituted authority in the Central Conference. So these are important meetings. But also, Celebration is going to provide wonderful presenters and preachers this year, including Reverend Eaton, who is a covenant pastor serving at Fellowship Covenant Church in Bronx, New York. And Pastor Martinez, our superintendent, will be preaching on Friday night. On Thursday afternoon, our ministers are going to hear from Armida Belmonte Stevens, who will be speaking about being a resilient church for challenging times. And then Reverend Megan Gillen and Shelley Eglund will address trauma-informed ministry.
Oh, wonderful. That sounds lovely.
And then on Friday afternoon, there are going to be several workshop options for those attending, including an option offered in Spanish. The evening worship services are open to anyone who wants to attend, and we're so excited to have Covenanters come together for the meetings and for evening worship.
Well, I hope you've heard what Patty just said. Our Thursday night service that starts at 7 o'clock and our Friday night service that starts at 7 o'clock, they're both open to the whole of the church. So that means that anyone in our 110 churches here in the 5-state area can attend, and you don't need to register. You just need to come and be a part of the celebrations. We wanted to call it celebration because we don't want to have another meeting. We want to have a celebration, and we made a big point of telling good testimonies and stories of how God is moving in our conference, and sincerely, there's a lot of movement of the Spirit here. So let's talk logistics. How can people register for celebration?
So people can register online for Celebration at the Central Conference website, which is found at centralconf.org under the Celebration header. There you're going to be able to find information on the speakers, the schedule, accommodations, and other details on the events. There's also information for ministers attending the Ministerial Association gathering, as well as information for the delegates attending the Central Conference annual meeting.
Hey, Patty, thank you for all you do and for sharing this with us today. Most people don't realize how much planning goes into celebration, and I call that Patty mode. It starts right after midwinter, and it goes to celebration because you keep things together. And thank you for loving and caring for our pastors and our ministers and our lay leaders and everyone else. Whether it's keeping the conference running or helping plan celebration, you are a vital part of this team, and we're very grateful for you. So to everyone listening, please make sure to visit centralconf.org/celebration to get registered and join us in April. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss future episodes of Mission in Motion. Thank you so much for this. Thank you, Patty.